we've created this fourth wall of service, I call it, where it's back of the house, front of the house. And I wrote recently about the idea of back of the house being, in my opinion, a derogatory term. Like, what do you mean back of the house? So part of what I preach is, look, the employee bathroom should be as important to you, hotel owner, hotel manager, as the guest bathroom. Sure, it doesn't have to be marble and gold, but if there's a cleanliness standard for your guest bathroom, that same standard should be applied to your employee bathroom. Because what message are you telling the employee? The guest matters a lot more than you do. We care about them a lot more than we do you. So the idea of knocking down that wall and really saying, we celebrate our employees being front-facing with the guests, housekeepers being at the gift shop buying a soda at the same time the guest is buying a soda. Why are we so stuck on hiding them when they're the true hero? We celebrate the chef. Why aren't we celebrating the housekeeper, who's actually far more entrenched in your business than the chef ever will be? And they're picking up your unmentionables off the ground and they're cleaning your mess and all of that. Why don't we celebrate them as much? So in the new model we're thinking about is the idea of take down that wall. And now obviously people will say, well, yeah, nice try. You're doing it because of COVID, because you want to show Amy that someone is scrubbing the lobby. Well, that's not the intent. Now, COVID accelerated that idea, right? Because now I want to show off to you. We used to say, clean the lobby after hours. We don't want guests seeing you. Well, now it's the opposite. Clean the lobby during hours. We want the guests seeing you. But to me, that has far better, more implications than just COVID. It really is about humanizing the experience and realizing that your room doesn't magically become clean. There's a mother, a sister, a brother, a husband, a father behind those that's working hard to make sure you have a great experience. We all want to be in the paper having cleaned our block and fed the homeless and all of that. But I start thinking about our motto, by the way, for my new venture is we want to do well by doing good. Do well by doing good. And again, I promise you, in 5 minutes, we'll be throwing up every time we hear this, just like storytelling. Same thing. But nonetheless, I'm owning it for now. Do well by doing good and conscious, responsible capitalism. So we clean the block, we feed the homeless, we write a check to this charity, we write a check to that charity. And at the end of the day, it seems like it's all peeing in the ocean. We really don't make that big a difference because ultimately our resources are pretty limited. We have investors, we have fiduciary responsibility to our investors who are also humans, by the way, and deserve the same respect as all the other groups I mentioned. So I start thinking about cities and places that are open 24/7 in cities. So hospitals, not happy places. Fire police, generally not happy places. Utilities, not happy places. 7-Eleven, by God, at least where I live, not happy places after hours. And you think about a hotel, and a hotel as you're driving into a strange city in the middle of the night is this sort of like warm beacon of light that's going to be your home away from home. And you don't get that feeling with Airbnbs, right? You just don't, because there's not that sort of home sense to it in terms of the people that are there. Hotels used to be such an integral part of the community, right? They were the community's living room. All happy things happen in hotels. And we've strayed so far away from that now that you go to any given city, if you're a member of that community, you feel unwelcomed in the hotel. It's not for you, it's for tourists, right? So how do we as hotels become, given how big a part of the community that we are, how do we become a better member of that community? So as we think about it more, and as I'm thinking about it, I'm saying, look, an average size hotel for us is, I don't know, 150 rooms, let's call it. There's usually 50 employees there total. If I took all my time, energy, and money that I was sprinkling in the ocean, as I suggested, and everyone's going to get that image in their head now of somebody peeing in the ocean. If I took that energy, time more importantly, energy and money combined, and focused on those 50 people within my four walls, and was truly, truly invested in their well-being, in their future, in their hopes and their aspirations, the chances of me creating more success because my efforts and money are concentrated are far greater. And if Amy, who works for me, who's trying to buy a house or trying to get her green card or trying to send her kid to college or trying to care for her elderly parents, if I can somehow help her accomplish any of these goals, again, whether it's financial, it's not always financial, obviously financial helps, but it's also education, learn a language, etc. She then automatically becomes a better part of the community in which my hotel is in. And I, the hotel or the owner of that hotel, enjoys the benefit of a community that's better, that's thriving because its members are thriving. So we're trying to take all those efforts and take them internally. And this is beyond, okay, we're going to give you healthcare and 401k. Right. This is really above and beyond that. And again, it is not always, people always think ka-ching, ka-ching. Sure, money is part of it, but ultimately it's the time and energy you take with it. Like I'll give you a silly example. Let's say in every confirmation email, we say, hey, we love to include our guests in our sort of community. We have employees here who are generally low-wage immigrants. If you happen to be an expert in one of the following topics and willing to give us an hour of your time, we'd love to give audience to 10 employees to sit with you and learn about first mortgage and learn about SBA loan and learn about green card. And you think about that simple example, which may happen once a year, by the way, it doesn't matter. But you think about every guest who gets that and see it now, they say, man, this is amazing. Is this a not-for-profit business? Is this a community center? What is this? This is such a great thing. So I think it has a dual benefit. Number one, you're doing right by your employees. Number two, it's marketing. People love that stuff. The idea of cancel culture is so strong and here to stay, but people always think of that negatively. I say, well, forget cancel culture. Let's take 180-degree opposite. We're working on coining this term, by the way. I'm going to trademark it. We call it the Giveashitability. Amy now doesn't want just a paycheck, who's a millennial. She wants a place that she's proud to say she works at that represents her core values and her ethos, right? So how do we create an environment that tells Amy, the employee, we are the right employer for you. You want to be part of this team because we speak your language. We are on the same page. We have the same beliefs and core values. And in the same token, guests now that are voting with their dollars, right, in the opposite sense of the cancel culture, want to know that they're doing business with people who also share their values. This is about where am I spending my money? Who am I giving my money to? And what are they doing to change our planet from their employee on up, right? People talk about sustainability and green and all that. To me, that's table stakes. I mean, if you don't recycle now, and you know, you travel, I travel, I'm shocked at how many states and cities don't recycle. But for us left coast people, I will fish a chicken bone out of the bottom of my garbage bag to put it in the compost. It's become muscle memory. The world has shrunk so much by virtue of technology. But at the end of the day, let's take baby steps where we can make a difference and not try to change the world all at once. If we all did one tiny little thing, think about the impact we make. I'm on a diversity action committee. And again, we keep meeting and talking, and it seems so big what we're trying to do. And my suggestion last time to everyone is, look, we're in this industry, hospitality industry. There are a lot of kids in high school that don't even know this is an option, right? So I said, let's quit our talking. Let's all commit that before next meeting, we're going to call our local high school in a tough neighborhood and say, we would love to come talk to your students to show them that hospitality is a path. An hour of someone's time. But again, we all mean well. We all want to change the world, and we become paralyzed by the overwhelming nature of that. It's one baby step at a time, and we'll all make a huge difference. And that's why I'm thinking about, I have 50 people inside my building that I see every single day. If I could make an impact in five people's lives, that's going to be far greater than anything I tried to do that has a global stint.